This is where we shot the train graveyard sequence in the movie when David Dunn comes in the middle of the night and it's raining and all, and he comes to see the wreckage of the train where the train company keeps all the pieces as they do the investigation, and he comes in to see exactly what happened to his train, and he has that flashback. And it's a great little space here. It's at the U.S. Naval Yard here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and it's just a really eerie space, has a lot of history to it. And it's a good space to talk to you about the deleted scenes in the movie, which is something that is always painful to do, to cut a scene out of a movie.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm going to be very, very sad if this doesn't turn out the way I think.
This is a scene that I wrote really late in the game. I wrote it after I hired Robin, and I wanted to really develop her character a little bit, so I wrote this scene with her and her son as they wait in the emergency room for information about whether, David Dunn has lived or has perished. And it's a really kind of a sweet scene. It's the first time I ever wrote a scene where we weren't talking about the plot at all, and they're talking about food, but they're really talking about how sad they feel. And this was a tough cut to make, and but it has great performances in it, and I'm glad you guys get to see it.
Action.
All survivors are being brought here from the accident site. We have no names and no numbers to give out. But as soon as we receive information, we will make an announcement.
When can we expect an announcement?
I got the mesquite barbecue chips you like, honey. Look, I bought that soda with all the caffeine your friends drink. You can have it just this once, okay? They didn't have the candy bar you liked, but look, they had others. I had a carrot cake thing, but I didn't think you'd like it. It had raisins in it. You could take out the raisins.
This next scene is a scene, it's actually two scenes, and it came right at the end of the home sequence when he comes home for the first time after the train wreck, and we're getting to know the family and what the situation is. And after he talks to his wife in the stairs, he goes upstairs and finds his son lying down in his bed, and he's just wants to be alone so bad. And this was a really big sequence for us because it's a moment where you really see David Dunn break down. And Bruce did just an amazing job in this, and it was kind of really an awesome thing to watch him perform this scene. And when we put it together, it was just fantastic. And it was and the reason it's not in the movie is a strange one. It's because it's too powerful and it's too much too soon. And I felt like, gosh, I didn't want to see that much of David Dunn's emotions that quickly. It's kind of a writer-director thing. It's hard to explain, but when I saw the scene in the movie, I felt like, gosh, that was too much to see of that character before we got to know him. And it's strange, but that's why it's not in the movie. But it's just I wish we could put it in some other way, but that's what's so great about the DVD. So have fun.
Joseph, you should go sleep in your mother's room.
I want to sleep here tonight. I won't make any noise.
How about this? You go sleep in your room. If you get scared like before, you can come in here, okay? Joseph.
The train derailed approximately 7.5 miles outside Philadelphia. It came to rest on its side on the northbound tracks. It is train officials' belief that some, if not most of the passengers, were still alive at this time. The momentary peace lasted only a few seconds. A Boston-bound freight train on the northbound tracks was seconds away from passing train 177 when it derailed. The impact happened about 3:15 p.m. The first of the two occupied passenger cars was severed in half and sent careening in two directions. The second of the passenger cars was crushed and dragged for 400 feet. 6 crew members were on the freight, 118 passengers and 7 crew members were on the passenger train. There is one reported survivor. Rescue teams working for hours to locate the passenger's body.
One big scene that you plan on when I'm making the movie and I'm writing it and we're putting it together. You know, something that's the biggest scene in the movie that requires the most amount of work, the most extras, and the most planning, and it's so much more difficult than every other scene. And this is that scene, and it always comes out of the movie. And it took us, you know, two long, arduous days to shoot, and so many people. It was a period scene, and it's one of the flashbacks of Elijah, and you see him at a fair, and it was one of our, probably the biggest action sequence in the movie. Yeah, this is one of the only scenes where I didn't do it. I didn't plan to do it in one take. It's impossible to do this in one take, and there's probably, you know, 10 times as many cuts in this scene as any other scene, and it was kind of out of the character of the rest of the movie. And also, that was one of the reasons why it didn't make it in the film ultimately. It felt like the movie stopped, and I did this whole scene, and then we went back to the language of the movie. And I don't know, you know, you never know when you make this mistake in the conception of it, but that's what happened. And it's still a very exciting and visceral scene to watch. It just doesn't feel a part of Unbreakable. And so we took the scene out, and this was a really hard cut. And also, there's a little boy who played Elijah at 7 years old, and he just did an amazing job, and he actually had to keep coming back to do this scene and reshoot it, and you get to see him here.
Elijah! Elijah!
get ready. Remember, hands and feet must remain down inside those cars.
I won't get hurt, Mama. I'm safe.
Priest. It comes during the church sequence, which is cut down a lot in the movie, but it actually was the first scene that I got right when I was writing. When I wrote it, I just looked at the page and I said, yeah, that's it. I finally got the tone of the movie. I finally understood David Dunn's character, and then I started to write the rest of the movie. And so, in a weird way, this was like the beginning of Unbreakable. This scene, and it's not in the movie because of a lot of factors. We shot this scene twice, actually, in two different locations. And the first time we had camera problems, and the second time I just felt like, you know, it was a lot of internal things going on with the character, but I needed to get back to the plot of, you know, why did I survive? That was why he's there with the priest, but why did I survive? Boom, he gets this note on the car, and we're off to the races, and we get to see Sam Jackson, and here we go. And so I'm always fighting this kind of battle between developing characters and developing the plot. And this time, plot won out, and we cut the scene.
I used to play football in college. I was a quarterback. One time we went on this winning streak. Just went on and on. I couldn't lose. When something like that happens, you get superstitious. Do silly things. You wear the same socks. You listen to the same B.B. King song before every game. I wouldn't even untie the shoelaces of my cleats. Just slip them off and on so nothing would change. It made things important that weren't important. This is different. I was the only person to survive that train wreck. Only one. It feels like this is important.
Are you a religious man, David?
No, sir.
Good. Because I'm going to talk to you as a man, not as a man of the cloth.
Okay.
It was luck.
What do you mean?
Luck. Random. Without meaning. About 3 years ago, my cousin died in the plane that crashed on takeoff at Philadelphia International Airport. Do you remember that crash?
Yes, sir.
I prayed and prayed until finally I found some meaning in the event. It gave me peace. And then, not quite a year later, an entire family from my parish burned to death in a hotel fire downtown. Again, I prayed. Again, I found meaning. Just 2 days ago, my nephew rode with you on that train back from New York. He was traveling alone for the first time. I'm sorry if I can't react to your survival with the appropriate. It was the hand of God. It was a miracle kind of answer. I'm fresh out of those right now.
The metal on my watch was crushed like someone hit it with a sledgehammer.
My 12-year-old nephew's neck was broken in 4 places. What's your point, David? You were chosen? I don't think so.
So this next scene that we cut out is actually a sequence. It's probably like 5 or 6 scenes, and it's in the middle of the movie. And it's always, the second act is always the place where things get really slow and you want to get going to the plot. And these scenes were all pretty much character development scenes. There are scenes with him and his wife and scenes with him and his son. And we made these points in other places in the movie, so I decided to take them out. But they're really wonderful performances in there, and it's a really sweet sequence. And it begins right after the weightlifting scene in the basement, and you get a call. He gets a call from somebody. He's not sure who it is, and it turns out to be his wife calling from another room in the house. So go ahead and watch this, and it's really sweet scenes.
Yeah, hello.
Is David Dunn there?
Audrey?
Yes. Is this David?
Yeah. Audrey, where are you calling from?
My name is Audrey Inverso. We went to college together.
Yeah. I remember you.
I was hoping you'd call me, but anyway, I decided not to wait. I was thinking it might be nice to go to dinner together.
Do your therapy clients ever just jump a level or two? Do something that they didn't know they could do?
Not often, but yes. I mean, most people get scared when they see the shadow or their limits, you know, and they don't know how far the shadow really is. They don't know how far away the real limits are standing. And they stop out of fear. This is kind of strange, isn't it? We're not acting like ourselves. I mean, like that. Your mouth's dirty, and you tap your napkin to your lips. You only do that when you're with someone you don't know.
What do I do when I'm with someone that I know?
You use your sleeve.
Audrey?
Hi.
Hi. Thought that was you.
How are you?
Good.
This is Claire. Her son is in Joseph's class, and Claire and I did the school food drive together.
Hi.
Hi. It's cute. So Audrey has spoken of you. I'm so glad she finally asked you out. What type of lawyer are you?
Type of lawyer.
This is my husband, Claire.
I'm so sorry.
He ate about 6 of those chocolate-covered donut holes with his milk. He said he only had 3, but I know he had 6.
Good night.
Good night.
My parents sleep in separate beds.
Thank you.
By the way, Joseph went to sleep in his room tonight.
His room?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not scared.
That's great.
You know why? I know now.
Now what?
Your secret identity. That man was right.
Joseph. There are big guys in almost every gym that can lift that much.
You could have lifted more. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone.
This next scene is one that I had a lot of fun shooting and a lot of fun storyboarding. It's kind of one of our action sequences we took out of the movie, and it's another bench press sequence where David Dunn decides to see if how much weight he can lift to make sure that this is for real. And so he goes to his job where, he's a security guard at a stadium, and there's all these big Olympic-sized weights that the players use, the professional athletes use, and he sneaks over there and decides to see how much he can lift. And it's a very fun scene. But the reason we took it out is because I felt that it was a little redundant, that we got the idea that he can lift a lot of weight, and he was being a little slow to catch on that he's special. But it was a really sad cut because it makes you smile and you have fun watching it, and but that's how it goes.
Yo, B stronger than you, dog.
No, he not. Damn, I'm lucky. Maybe he got. I need some of it.